How you doing, everybody? File 91E here, and happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, so I'm trying this new setup here in my car. I got my GoPro mounted on the thing, and it's pointed at me, so it's like, okay. So hopefully this all works out, and the sound isn't too bad. We'll just have to see, because this microphone is very good, and we'll just see what they allow us to do. I'm on my way to work, so it's around 7:47 in the morning, Valentine's Day. And, I've been wanting to make other videos, just obviously not really any Disney videos. I just didn't know what to talk about. And so Valentine's Day, I figured I'd talk about the only interesting real Valentine's Day experience I ever had. I guess some would think that this is a bad story, but it really isn't. It's kind of a funny story the more I look on it now, just because of all of how all the crap happened with. Because I'm not really good with Valentines and dating and stuff like that. That's not really my deal. Also, like if the lighting's bad, it's just because it's the sun and the morning, and it is what it is. So we'll just have to deal with it. But hopefully you can hear me pretty good. Anyway, okay. So Valentine's Day. This was, I want to say, maybe around 2011. I was on the dating site. Not Plenty of Fish. What's the other one? OK Cupid. I don't know. I was, I wanted to go around and see what the dating stuff was, so I did. God, what was I, like 24, 25, something like that? Anyway, so, oh yeah, you're probably getting a lot of sun right now. So, so what do I do? I match up with this chick. Chick. Okay, I'm trying to sound cool now, right? I match up with this girl. Her name, I can't remember her name. It's because it's a long time ago. And, we go out a couple times. We meet up for, breakfast, lunch, or whatever it is. And, everything seems to be going good. Pretty girl, nice person. I think she likes me too, which is good, but as with most people on usually dating websites, they're either really desperate for somebody or they're kind of shy. But I didn't know that at the time because I didn't have the world experience that I do now. And so I decide, because she told me she had never had a traditional Valentine's Day experience, that I'm going to get her a bunch of crap for Valentine's Day because, we've been going for, I don't know, a couple months. And I was like, okay, this is like our first real big date, which is weird for me to talk about because I really don't, I'm not, like nowadays, I don't really date. I don't really like people as much. I kind of, I'm more on the asexual side right now, meaning I don't really, relationships don't really, I don't understand them too much. It's just how I am. I don't really understand relationships very much. But alas, I was experimenting kind of then and whatnot. But I just wanted to see what was going on, and like I had never done really a Valentine's Day thing, and she never really had a Valentine's Day thing, so I was going to do some special stuff. Around Valentine's Day every year, the Disney on Ice comes in, and she's a big Disney fan, which was again a huge plus for me. And she, really had never been to Disney on Ice. I think that's what the deal was, but she had wanted to go, and I was like, okay, whatever. I kind of put that in the back of my head, so I got some tickets for that. What was it? I got some tickets for that. I made reservations for a pretty decent restaurant where we could have a good time, and I even got her because she was really into Kingdom Hearts, one of those like Keyblade, I think they're called. I don't really play Kingdom Hearts. It was kind of like a necklace pendant. I didn't spend a lot of money on it, but overall on the whole thing, it was I think it was a couple $100. And for a guy that really didn't make much money back then, it was, a lot. And now, don't get me wrong, because I'm spending money on a girl or somebody does not mean I'm expecting anything in return. Just maybe some gratitude and hopefully some friend points and what like that. That's really all I'm expecting. I'm not expecting, hanky-panky, lovey-dovey, that sort of stuff. I didn't want that. It was just, hey, I wanted to treat you nice and, treat you on a good time. Show you a good time. So, I got up, dressed up real nice, and I was kind of svelte back then, a little bit more than I am now. Even though I just had that surgery, I was more svelte then because I was working out a lot. And, so I think I look pretty good, whatever, I'm not the worst looking guy in the world. So, so I pick her up, and everything was going fine. We went to the Disney on Ice, we parked, everything was good. And it wasn't until dinner that things started changing a little bit. I'm not sure if she just was getting nervous throughout the night. Like, I didn't pick up on that. Like, we had still just been talking and just doing whatever. But I think somewhere along the line, she got worried that I was going to try to make a move on her, which I wasn't at all. So during dinner, as we're eating, right after the waiter took our orders, she looks over to me and goes, "So are you going to try to kiss me at the end of the night or what?" And I just had this look of like, and what I said was, I wasn't planning on it, but if it was going to happen, I wasn't going to stop it, like that sort of thing. Because that's kind of how I felt. Like, I like things to happen naturally. I don't like try to force it or anything, even though, like, I guess now, like, looking back on it, it seemed like I was trying to force some form of interaction, and it totally wasn't like that at all. Like, that was not my intention. I think a lot of people who know me like that. It's just I like to do things for people. So anyway, so that's what she says, and that just kind of like, we were going pretty good, and then all of a sudden she hit the brakes, and I was like, whoa, really hard stop. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I was like, no, but if it happens, it was, it's going to happen. It'd be nice, but I wouldn't stop it. So she goes, okay, well, let's just kiss now and get it over with. And I went, okay. So I leaned over and kissed her, and it was just more of like a peck on the cheek or anything like that. And she went, okay. So then we started eating, and for the rest of the night, it just was like, man, she just, it was like, from her doing that, it just pulled back, and I was very uncomfortable because I didn't want to say anything that was going to offend her or anything like that, because, I could tell that now she was really, really, upset. Well, not upset, but like, either weirded out or just uncomfortable with this whole situation. And I was like, oh dear. Okay. So we ate. I'd given her the pendant, like, like right before we went to the Disney on Ice thing, and she liked it, so that was nice. So we do that, and then I take her home, I drop her off, I get out, I give her a hug, no kiss because we had already done that, right? And again, I wasn't expecting it. It just, it was the most awkward way to end what I was hoping would be the most, kind of more of a romantic, sort of good first, typical Valentine's Day date, than anything else, So, again, I didn't spend a lot of money, but it was a decent amount, for tickets and dinner and stuff like that. And it wasn't like some weird fancy French restaurant or anything. It was a place called Fogo de Chao, which is like a steak place that she liked and I liked, and it was stuff that we had talked about, And, so she just wasn't, was very weirded out by it, I guess. So anyway, that was Saturday. So we, Sunday passed and then Monday passed, and I hadn't got a chance to talk to her. I texted her a couple times and said, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Good morning, that sort of shit. all the typical crap that you're supposed to do with a person, which is, again, why I don't like dating, because it's so ungenuine. I don't text other people unless, like I have a question for them or anything like that. Very rarely do I just, like, again, I like conversations to kind of strike up naturally. Hey, what's going on? Oh my God, did you see this? Blah, 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 this, that, and then we just start talking. But, the whole, hey, good morning, I love my good morning text. No, it's stupid. I don't know. But I guess some people like it. I don't know. I'm not one of those guys. I realize now I'm a very different guy. I realize now that, like, I guess I would be very difficult to, I don't want to say deal with, or difficult to get along with, because just a lot of stuff going from my past and everything like that. And plus, I just don't understand relationships and all the customs that have to go with it. It's very awkward to me. So anyway, 2 days passed, or 3 days passed, whatever it was, and then I get a text from her as I'm working saying, yeah, I didn't quite like what we did on Saturday, and I don't want to go out with you anymore, blah, 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 have a great life. And I was just like, okay. Because I'm not going to fight anything like that, because it's a personal decision that she made, and what am I going to do, just yell? That doesn't help anything. When people get so upset over people just doing that stuff, it's one thing to get a little sad over something ending like that, but then when I hear people, flying off the handle, getting angry, it's like, yelling's not going to help anything. But anyway, so I just was like, I got a little whatever, and yeah, it just kind of stopped, and I was kind of bummed out. I did all this stuff, and I got dumped for it, so that kind of put a sour on things of that nature. Anyway, so you might actually think that that's the end of the story. And it kind of is. We're getting there. So a year goes by, and after, I got rid of her on Facebook and all that stuff. And just because, when somebody hurts you like that, it's good to kind of pull back and, heal the wound while, away from them, so they don't, open the wound anymore. Or at least that's what I do. And so a year later, I get a message on YouTube, because I told her about my YouTube channel and stuff like that. And she basically said, she apologized. She said that she just was in a weird place. Nobody had ever really done anything like that for her before, and she wasn't really used to, like, affection and whatnot. And I was like, and it was a genuine, heartfelt apology, at least I thought. And basically all I said was, thanks for saying that, because that really makes me feel better, because I, for the longest time, thought I did something wrong. And I realized that relationships and like that are kind of two-way streets, and it might not be you at all. It might literally just be them and where they are in their lives. So that was pretty much my only Valentine's Day experience. I really don't have much experience with dating. I know you're probably getting a lot of sun right now, but I apologize. But yeah, dating for me is I don't understand it. I never really understood it. It's a very weird set of rules that, I really just don't get. And I would love if somebody had like an instruction manual, kind of like for Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, so I knew what the rules were. Or what to do and how to do it, but it's not like that, because it's real life. Real life doesn't have, many rules like that. So yeah, that's my Valentine's Day experience. If you guys have any interesting Valentine's Day experiences, I'd love to hear from you. You can post them in the comments section below. And yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys had to say. I don't hold any ill will toward her or anything like that, or because it was water under the bridge so many years ago, I don't even remember her name. So, we all go through really weird things, and it's all in how we deal with them, and whether we choose to let them, eat at us or not. And whenever bad stuff, like that happens to me, I always think, well, if I make it through this, or when I make it through this, it's going to be an interesting story I can tell, a couple of years down the line. So, yeah, that's what happened. That's my Valentine's Day experience. And who knows, maybe one day in the future, if I ever feel comfortable enough with somebody and, and they feel comfortable enough with me, maybe we'll, have something, going on. But for right now, I'm very kind of all about me. I know it's kind of cliche to say, but it is. I'm trying to better myself and make just kind of feel good about just being with me, and I'm okay being alone. I thought a lot about it, because I really, honestly, having another person in my life right now would be a kind of a huge impediment, because I don't have a lot of money, and girlfriends or significant others are very expensive. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. They're very expensive, with dates and whatnot, and I can barely afford stuff for me. And considering I don't eat a whole lot now, taking somebody else to eat would be like, it's just like there wouldn't be any goodness in it for me, I guess. It's like, okay, whatever, I can't eat here, but I'll take you if you want. And just the whole, relationship, romantic thing, I'm not very good at that. I'm not. I'm very awkward with it. The whole kissing and snuggling and the, inevitable relations and stuff like that, it's very awkward to me. I don't quite understand it. It's just not for me, basically. I know a lot, for everybody else in the world it is, but for me it's, I'm in the minority of, I just don't want to have to deal with sex, or, I don't want to have to deal with other people. As terrible as it is to, as awkward as it is to admit, that's kind of where I am and have been for the last couple years. It just doesn't interest me. I have other things going on, and, I just don't need anybody else. And I know other people, some people need somebody else in their lives. I don't necessarily think I need that. I get my, some people are like, I need, intimacy. Well, I get my, like intimacy with conversations with close friends and stuff like that. And, it's, I get love from from my friends and family. It's, it's kind of the same. I get it in different ways. It just kind of works out that way. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll change down the line, but for right now, it's just that way. So now you know way too much about me, and I went on long enough and droned on long enough. So happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day. Be safe, be smart, and if it turns out to be a bad one, just know, hey, it's just a story down the line. So I'll see you guys next time, and whatever else I'm going to talk about, I don't know. Bye, guys.